All right, in this chapter, I'm going to create a material that I can project onto all of these meshes so that I can kind of combat this 2-to-1 ratio stretching here. So I'm going to right click, create a new material, and we'll call this brick concrete projection. Okay, let's open up the material, and I'm going to click on my roughness, normal, displacement. We don't really need the displacement. So I'll delete the displacement. I'll plug my textures in real quick, and we'll see that I get a similar look to what we had before. Okay, so what I need to do is use a node called world align texture. Okay, so in order to plug something into the world align texture, I need to actually convert it into a texture 2D. So I'm going to right click on this and select convert to texture object. Now I can plug in my texture object. I'm going to be projecting this in the X axis and the Y axis. So I'm going to pull that out and plug that into base color. We're going to need a parameter to adjust the texture size or the scale of this. So I'm going to hold the 1 key, left click to get a constant 1, and I'm just going to type in 64. And we're going to rinse and repeat. I'm going to select this, hit Control W twice, right click on this, convert to texture object, convert to texture object. Going to plug this into the texture, this into the texture size. And then the output into its respective property. Okay, so with this, what we can see is that this ends up projecting in 2 axes, the X axis and the Y axis. If I look at the top, the Z axis, it's all kind of messed up. But in the front projection and the side projections, it looks okay. So now I can assign this material. And regardless of where the mesh is actually placed, that texture won't move. So I'm going to create a material instance off of this by right-clicking and converting this to a parameter called texture size. Then I can right-click on the material and create an instance. And let's assign the instance. I want to get at the instance because now I can change that scale or that size. Okay, so let's go back into a side view here. And let's get our floors. Control Alt deselect. And we'll assign that to the material. Okay, so now we can open up the instance and continue to adjust that scale to be whatever we like. But I'm thinking I'm going to need to use a constant 2. So this I can do I can input 2 values. So let's put 64 by 128. Looks like it's going to need a constant 3. So let's do 64 by 128 by 64. Okay, so this looks like the texture is no longer stretched. I don't believe that the B value or the Z value, okay, looks like it does do something. Let me set it to 128. Okay, that looks squished. Back at 64. All right, so if I look at this, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. I put this at 128. Okay, that's definitely squishing it. Let's try doubling this to 256. Here we go. This is more along the lines of what I want, possibly. Let's convert this to a parameter. And I should be able to kind of visualize that here. Okay, so this middle number, the green, doesn't do anything. Okay, so this is much easier for us to see. I don't know why here in this space we were actually seeing a difference. So this is going to be the X value, and this will be the Y value. So basically, if I type in 64 for all of these, and again, this center one doesn't make a difference in our projection, but let's just keep them all the same. And I want to tile it twice in the one direction. So let's take this and we'll set this to 128. So we want this number to always be twice as large. So I'm going to set this to 512 and then this to 256. to get about the scale that I want. And that's starting to look the way that I want. I'm also going to line these up now. So let's go back into the top view. And let's get those aligned. Drag select, Control and Alt to deselect. Let's hit the lesser bracket key twice to drop down our grid snapping to 10 so we can get this grid snapped to the same location. Okay, there we go. And what's going on here? Okay. I'll increase the attenuation or the scale of these. All right, so I think we've got the materials where I want them. And in the next chapter, I want to start adding in some medium and large decorative meshes to flesh out the scene.